Hare Krishna everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to today's Sunday Feast program. It's 4 o'clock, so it's time for the class. So today we have His Grace Ananda Svarupa Prabhu, who is a disciple of His Grace Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhuji regularly gives lectures on Bhagavad Gita every Tuesdays and Fridays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So we welcome him today. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we will welcome him by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So welcome Prabhuji. Let's get on with the class. Hare Krishna.
Would you like to play the harmonium?
Just beginner. You want to play right now?
No, I play harmonium.
Is it okay when you can see?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's underneath there, something.
You need cartels for it?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. So we'll start by singing Jai Radha Madhava. Then I'll speak for 15-20 minutes. But we have 1 hour, so if you have any questions or any comments, maybe the second part of the lecture we can have a little open discussion. Would that be okay? All right. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajita Sarja Astotara Sabha Shri Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Nectar of Devotion. This was one of the important books that Prabhupada translated when he first came to America. It's a summary study of a Sanskrit work by Rupa Goswami called the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the ocean of devotion to Krishna. Devotion to Krishna and the beauty of Krishna and the connection with Krishna. It's just like an ocean. I don't know how many of you swim in the ocean, but I was brought up near the ocean. I used to go swimming all the time and surfing. So sometimes when the ocean waves are coming, it's difficult to go beyond the waves. You go in a little bit and a wave knocks you over. Then you get up and you go a little further and the next wave knocks you over. So this is like the beauty of Krishna. You see a little bit of Krishna, so attractive, so beautiful, so indescribable, it knocks you over. And by the time you catch your breath, you get another glimpse of Krishna, he's even more beautiful, and again he knocks you over. So this is the ocean of pure devotional service. We stress pure devotional service because only by pure devotional service can we attract Krishna. Krishna is not difficult to achieve. Love of Krishna, even more difficult to achieve. But it can only be achieved by pure devotional service. So, in the beginning of Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Kapila Dev, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristic of pure devotional service. My dear mother, those who are my pure devotees and have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation, have their minds so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me for anything except to be engaged in that service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me. There are 5 kinds of liberation, namely to become one with the Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord on the same planet, to have the same features of the Lord, to enjoy the same opulences as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. A devotee, what to speak of rejecting material sense gratification, does not even want any of the 5 kinds of liberation. He is satisfied simply by discharging loving devotional service to the Lord. That is a characteristic of pure devotion. So there are 6 phases of pure devotional service. The first phase is that pure devotional service brings relief from all kinds of material distress. Therefore, we stress pure devotion because it's not usually available very easily. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that we should surrender to him, give up all kinds of dharma, and he will protect us, and he will free us from all kinds of sinful activity. But not many people actually follow Krishna's instructions. 5,000 years ago, he made that demand. He said, first you surrender, then we will see. But very few people surrender. So Krishna came again. Every time Krishna comes, once in 4 million years. No, once in 4,000 million years. One day of Brahma is 4 million years times 1,000. So 4,000 million years. So Krishna comes one time during the day of Brahma. And after Krishna comes, Lord Chaitanya also comes. Lord Chaitanya is an avatar of an incarnation of Krishna. He's actually Krishna himself, but in a dress and in the mood of a devotee. In other words, Krishna is thinking that I've given Bhagavad Gita, and very few people have taken advantage because they don't know what is the process of surrendering unto me. The reason we don't surrender to Krishna is very simple. It's because we don't understand the benefit of surrendering. If we actually understand and are attracted by Krishna's beauty, and if we can understand what is the enormous benefit we can get by surrendering to Krishna, then we will surrender. Which means if we don't surrender, then we are lacking in knowledge of Krishna. So Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the process of surrender. Just like a teacher, when he teaches the child how to write, the child may make a mistake, so the teacher takes his hand and he says, you write like this. So in the same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared only 500 years ago, he came to teach this pure devotional service. So what is pure devotional service? Pure devotional service is to have no desire except to serve Krishna. Anna Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. Anything beginning with Jnana or knowledge or speculating on the nature of God. This is my God, this is your God, God is like this, God is like that. It's called Jnana. And karma means to worship God or to go to the temple or to the church with some material benefit. Karma adi, beginning with karma. So that also includes yoga. Practicing yoga to obtain some mystic power from God. So anya, abhilashita means desire. Any other desire, including those that I've mentioned, are not required. Anukulyena Krishna Nusilanam Bhakti Ruttamadi. Topmost devotion, or pure devotion, is anukul, is to do something favorable to Krishna. In other words, you come to the temple, of course we all have material desires. Let's not pretend we don't. But at least you come to Krishna and you say, here I am, my dear Krishna, I have so many material desires, but I really want to love you. I really want to make a finish of material life. Because material life, no matter how you paint it, you're going to die. You're going to get old. You're going to take another birth. Even if you become the king of the whole world, even if you become Lord Brahma, the king of the whole universe, your life is limited. So Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease are a constant problem in the material world. And there is no material activity that will change that. Therefore, you come to Krishna and you admit, yes, how do I become free from the cycle of birth and death? Not how do I make the cycle of birth and death more pleasant for myself? Not now that I'm having iron shackles, please Krishna, give me golden shackles. What is the point? It's no point. So, you come to Krishna and you pray to him, how do I become free from the cycle of birth and death? How do I teach my children to become free? How do I organize my life in such a way that I will become free from this? And how do we become free? We become free by not having any desire to remain in bondage. You know, sometimes it boggles the mind how simple God consciousness is. We are really stubborn people that we don't really understand. We don't understand because we don't want to understand. Tremendously stubborn. We want to do what we want to do. We don't want to do what Krishna does. So when we come to Krishna, we should pray to him that here I am stubborn as a mule. I don't know how to make progress, but I admit that I have this problem. Now you promise that if I surrender to you, if I come to you, you will protect me. You will free me from all these additional desires which are keeping me in the material world. And this is pure devotion. It's the beginning of pure devotion. Because as soon as you give up the idea of trying to improve your material situation, you become free from anxiety. Anxiety is there because we want to improve. We don't like our situation. What I have now is not enough. I want more. I want this. I want that. And these desires, want this, want that, keep us entangled in the material world and separated from Krishna, and are the root of our problems. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of the great, talking about the Sunday program, what we're doing here, while we are coming here together, is to discuss these points. We can go anywhere. It's a beautiful day. We can go to the park. We can go to a cafe. We can sit outside. We can enjoy life. But we can also come here. This is one option, and the reason we come here is to discuss these points. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my duty in life? What am I supposed to do? Where do I go after death? So these are the questions. Hey, we're not the first people to ask these questions. These questions have been asked for thousands and thousands of years by much more intelligent and advanced people than us. And these seekers have given us a body of knowledge. And especially the body of knowledge available in India is immense. There is no comparison. Now you may say, why is it that if the knowledge of India is so wonderful, so special, why is it that it's not popular around the world? That even in India, they don't take advantage of this knowledge. For example, in India, they don't teach Bhagavad Gita in the classes. No, they're secular. Secular means do whatever you want, but you cannot teach religion. But in fact, without religion, we're no better than animals. Animals eat, we eat, animals sleep, animals defend, animals have sex. We do the same things. There is only one difference between an animal and a human being. Is that the human being has 2 ears. We can hear about spirituality. We can change our nature. Animal cannot change its nature. There is, 30 people here? And we are sitting, we are listening, we are putting our mind to this important subject. Suppose I invite 30 dogs and cats to come and sit here. What do you think will happen? Be chaos. They wouldn't listen, they'll fight with each other. You cannot do it, it's just not possible. Just imagine if we had a room full of dogs and cats. It would be complete chaos.
I would like it.
Yeah, it may be nice.
No.
I would probably have to sneeze because I'm allergic to cats.
The point is that they cannot hear about spiritual life.
So,
But they can eat like us, they can sleep, they have feelings. Don't believe that animals have no soul. They have a soul just like we do. The only difference is they are very strongly conditioned by their material body. We are also conditioned by our material body, but not as much as the animals. We have an option. The human life is meant for understanding our spiritual nature. And it's not that difficult. Even a 5-year-old can understand he is not the body as long as you teach him. If you don't teach him, if from the beginning of childhood you teach your children that the purpose of life is simply to enjoy the senses, then they will believe that. But if you teach them that the purpose of life is to understand the self, you can train them to come to that point. So, the first point is to understand we are not the body. How do you understand you're not the body? Not that difficult. Look, you see, these are my glasses, correct? Glasses is one principle, and I am another principle. I am not the glasses are not me. They are my glasses. I am the possessor of these glasses. So similarly, this is my body. The body is one principle and I am another principle. I am not the body is not me. I am the possessor of my body. Now, is that so difficult to understand? No, it's not. What is difficult is to act on this platform. Because if you're not the body, then suddenly all your bodily needs become relative. They don't become the most important thing in life. They become relative to the spirit. And understanding you're not the body means to act. Therefore, a bona fide teacher like Srila Prabhupada, when he came to teach this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, he made some rules. He said, you want to be my student? Then you have to follow 4 rules. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. Why? Because if we eat meat, we become involved in animal killing. And animals have feelings. Animals have a soul. Animals are souls in an animal body. They are also going through the process of birth and death. They're going through the process of evolution. If we kill the animal unnecessarily, we block his evolvement through the species to come to the human form. And not to speak of the pain and distress that we cause to animals. So, if you're the spirit soul, you don't want to be involved in that. Because the animals are also connected with Krishna. They are our brothers and sisters. How do you think the father will be happy if I kill my brother? Suppose I have 10 brothers, okay? So, 8 of these brothers are very good, but one of them is not so good. He's a bit stupid, demented, or retarded. So I go to my father and say, dear father, this brother of ours is a mental retard, he's useless, so let's kill him. Do you think the father will agree? Of course not. You say, you rascal, how dare you say something like that? He's also my son. He may be retarded, but I'm maintaining him. I love him just as he is. You have no right to interfere with his life. So this is the first step. You take responsibility for who you are. And since we eat 3 times a day, it's a very big thing to take responsibility for. So even though we don't eat animals, still, whatever we eat, we should be conscious that it's coming from God. We offer it to God. My dear Krishna, you have given me this food. After all, can we create a grain of rice? Can we create any food? No. Human civilization, human society is living because there is earth and there is rain. That's it. We take those 2 things away, we all die. The earth is already there when we take birth. And the rain comes by its own will. Actually, it comes by performing sacrifice, not by our activity. If there is a drought, you can say whatever you want. You have no power to make it rain. So, that's the first thing. Take responsibility for what you eat. And then, take responsibility. So, non-violence or becoming peaceful in relationship with your brothers and sisters on the planet. That makes Krishna happy. That's conducive to understanding Krishna. If I come and insult you, or if I give you pain, or if I harass you, what chance do I have of getting to know you? If you feel threatened by me, you will not reveal your heart, you will not become my friend. No, of course not. It's counterproductive. And these feelings are there because they're there in God. God is also a person, He has feelings. When you see it, you consider it to those around you, then He becomes pleased with you. And that helps you to understand that, and Krishna reveals some of that beauty that I talked about at the beginning of the lecture. Next point is no intoxication. As Prabhupada demanded, because especially when he came to America in the 60s, we were all half hippies, all high or low on some drug or another. So he said, no more drugs. No more, even tea, coffee, what to speak of ganja or LSD or alcohol. Why? Because already we are intoxicated by their body. How am I intoxicated by the body? Because I'm thinking I'm a man, I'm from Holland, I'm from Italy, I'm a woman, this is my husband, this is my wife. That's already some kind of intoxication because I'm none of these things. I'm a spirit. So identifying with the body means I'm intoxicated by my body and mind. If on top of that intoxication, I take even more artificial intoxication, the chances of understanding or acting as spirit becomes very, very limited. Therefore, no intoxication. We're already intoxicated enough. Then, no gambling. Why no gambling? Because gambling is a kind of cheating. That I give 1, but I get 10 back. Life doesn't work like that. If you want to actually have an adult relationship with God in your heart, you cannot cheat, you cannot take a shortcut. You have to ask Him, how do I get to know you? How do I induce you to reveal your beauty, your relationship with me within my heart? And then He will say, yeah, but not cheating, first of all. That's the first thing. He knows when we cheat. We may not know. We may build a relationship, family, wife, children, based on cheating. But you cannot do that with God. So no gambling. And no illicit sex. Why no illicit sex? Because the whole world is turning around on this principle of attraction of male and female. Not just among human beings. Even among the animals, even among the trees. It requires a connection. When an animal is born, when a bird is born, there are 2 eggs, one female, one male. It's not by chance. Male and female attraction is very, very powerful. In fact, I've done some pretty crazy things in my life. You know, next year I'll be 80 years old, so I've been around more than you. See, most of you are young. And I've done some crazy things in my youth. And they've all been based on some crazy sexual relationship. That has always been at the bottom of it. If I take away my relationship with the opposite sex, then I had a pretty peaceful life. Whenever I've been disturbed, it's because of this sexual attraction. It's very powerful. You can't even sleep. You become attracted to a woman becomes attracted to a man, you become crazy. You all know. So, how do you control the sex life? 2 ways. One way is, when you're young, you get married, and you use sex for what it is designed for. Sex is designed to produce children. The fact that it is pleasurable is a side issue. Because if it wasn't pleasurable, we wouldn't have sex, we wouldn't procreate, the world wouldn't be, we wouldn't give a chance to all these different living entities who are coming from the spiritual world to the material world. We don't give them a chance to go back. So, these are the 4 principles. And these 4 principles, when we follow them, are an indication that we understand that we are spirit. So don't think that just by taking up some religion, some belief, oh, I believe I'm a Hindu, I believe I'm a Christian, I believe I'm a Muslim, that's not enough. No, you have to act on the understanding that we are spirit soul. Mainline religion, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, are like preparatory school. It's like going to primary school, class 1 to 10. Everybody gets taught the same. Everybody gets taught how to read, how to write, little history, a little geography, some mathematics, some science, pretty much the same all over the world. Things change when you finish your primary school and you go to university. Then you do what your talent is. Not everybody is taught the same thing at the university. But to understand the process of the university, you have to go through the process of primary education. So similarly, all religions are simply a process of preparing us to understand what is my eternal relationship with God. Just like when I fall in love with a woman, then I think, oh, this is my life and soul, this is my eternal relationship. I'm so happy with her. Let's build a house, have children. I dedicate my whole life to that. The problem with that is that you're going to die. Then it'll be finished. Bang goes your wife, bang goes your children, everything is finished. So, excuse me. When you enter your relationship with Krishna, it's like going to university and finding what is your talent. You may have a talent for law, or science, or music, or philosophy, and then you can dedicate your life to that. But as I said, life is temporary. We're looking for eternal life. Eternal life comes when we fulfill the basic tenets of Dharma or religion and enter in our eternal relationship with Krishna. Every one of us is eternally connected with God because we are His sons. We are produced from God. We are eternally connected, and when that connection becomes manifested in our heart, it is infinitely better than any material relationship, and it gives you complete satisfaction. And that comes when you practice pure devotional service. So this is the first principle of pure devotional service, is that all your material miseries come to an end. So we're not giving, Krishna is not giving something cheap. And the second point of pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Anything in the material world is by definition inauspicious. Whether you're doing good, whether you're charitable or kind, you cannot develop charity, kindness, tolerance, and these things independently. They come automatically when you become Krishna conscious. Because when you're connected with Krishna, when you have some affection and love for Krishna, you see everybody connected with Krishna, and because of Krishna, you treat everybody kindly. Is that so difficult to understand? It's very simple. That's why we stress pure devotional service. It actually fulfills for example, we talked about the attraction of male and female. Very powerful. Kingdoms hinge on this attraction of male and female. So I said there is two ways to become free, or to use this attraction in a positive way. One way is to get married, and have children, then you become peaceful. Once you have a suitable wife or a husband, there's no need to look anywhere else. The other way is to see everybody in connection with Krishna. As I said, I'm an old man. I'm not free from sex desire. I still see the beauty in woman. It's not that I'm free from it, but I see something else. When I see a beautiful woman, I see that this woman belongs to Krishna. It's not my property. And this is bhakti. Bhakti means there is two. There is Krishna and there is you. Whenever you make a decision, whenever a desire comes, you decide in cooperation with Krishna. So when you see someone and is attracted to you, that attraction, you turn it towards Krishna because that person belongs to Krishna. And that's how you become free from material attachment, even sex desire. So, and this means that pure devotional service puts you in a transcendental position. If you can actually achieve pure devotional service, you don't become attracted, or the attraction to the material world becomes inverted. Instead of being attracted for me, I become attracted for Krishna. Then it's perfect. Because after all, everything is connected with Krishna. You cannot artificially give up. You can, but actually it's very, very difficult. So the third point in pure devotional service is that it puts on in transcendental pleasure. As I said, Krishna is so beautiful, Krishna is so attractive. That's why it's called Krishna. Krishna comes from the root karshan. Karshan means to attract. So Krishna means one who attracts everything. Why does he attract? Because he's the most beautiful, he's the most powerful, he's the most wealthy, he's the most knowledgeable, he's the most famous, and he's the most renounced to an unlimited degree. All these qualities attract, but within Krishna, they are unlimited. There is no end how you become attracted to Krishna. I've been practicing Krishna consciousness, good or bad, for 50 years. Every day I read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. I never get tired. I get to the end, I start at the beginning again. I cannot do that with a normal book. So, this gives you transcendental pleasure. The fourth point is, described here, is that pure devotional service is very rarely achieved. It's not that easy to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Krishna will give you liberation. Krishna will stop. Just by coming to this temple and seeing the deities, you're guaranteed not to continue in the cycle of birth and death. You will become liberated. Maybe not in this life, but certainly in a future life. Because Krishna has taken notice of you. And when he takes notice of you, he follows through. And he will liberate you. You will go to Vaikuntha, become liberated. But that doesn't mean you become an intimate associate of Krishna. That doesn't mean that Krishna reveals his mind to you. No, you will be in Krishna's, as is explained here, there are 5 kinds of liberation. The 4 kinds of liberations which a devotee accepts: Sarupya, having a similar form as Krishna; Samipya, having the same opulence as Krishna; Shastri, being in the same association of Krishna; and Salokya, living in the same planet of Krishna. Those liberations means you become free from material life. But it doesn't mean you become Krishna's intimate friend. Just like you can live in a country, like in Holland, so we're all residents of Holland. There happens to be a king here, right? Willem, is that his name? Willem Alexander. His palace is just on the Dam Square. But just because we're living in Holland, It doesn't mean the king is your intimate friend. You can live here, you can take advantage of being a Dutch citizen, you can take advantage of the king's laws and association, but it doesn't mean he's your mate, he's your friend. So, to get the friendship with Krishna, that is very rarely achieved. And the sixth thing is that pure devotional service is so powerful, it is the only means to attract Krishna. Why is that? Okay. Krishna is everything, and Krishna has everything. Correct? So what is there that you can give Krishna to attract him that he doesn't already have?
Love.
There's nothing.
Love.
I'll get to that. It's just like if it's somebody's birthday, you want to buy the person a present. You're buying something which is surprising to him, something he doesn't have. When there is a wedding, for example, they make a list of the presents you can bring. They don't bring a toaster, I already have it, don't bring a vacuum. They make a list, a husband and wife, so the guests know what present to bring, which is suitable for the occasion. So Krishna has everything. So what do we give? What is there that we can give him? We can give him our independence. That is the one thing we have, which Krishna has given us. He has given us minute independence through which we can choose to listen and to relate with him or not. And when we use our independence in relationship with Krishna, Krishna becomes attractive. Because there's one thing he doesn't have, your independence. Sometimes people ask, how is it that God enjoys unlimitedly? God enjoys unlimitedly because each one of us is an independent living entity with freedom to choose whether to negotiate and to be with Krishna or not. When we choose, then Krishna enjoys. And because there are unlimited living entities, Krishna enjoys unlimitedly. So these are the processes of pure devotional service. The whole purpose of the Sunday feast is to talk about this subject. It's the only reason we get together, is to talk about this. And Krishna says in the Gita, Swapam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Even if you make a little progress in this dharma, dharma means in your eternal connection with Krishna, even a little advancement, trayate mahato bhaya. You become free from the greatest fear. What is it? Mahato bhaya. The greatest fear is that I take another birth in the material world and I forget about Krishna. If you start your spiritual life, you require a human body to practice it. That's the human body has independence to practice spiritual life. Animals don't have that independence. They are controlled by their own nature. But a human being, if he starts his spiritual advancement, suppose you come to 10%, next life you carry on at 11%. Because you started your spiritual endeavor, you will be given an opportunity to continue. And because spiritual endeavor requires a human body, you will not lose your human birth. Even if you take another birth, you'll take birth either in a devotee's house or in a rich man's house, where you will have opportunity to continue your practice of devotional service. Good. We have another 15 minutes, and generally, after half an hour, I run out of steam. I don't like to talk too much. So maybe you have some comments or some questions. Yuri, you were saying something about love?
Oh, I think you already answered. Sorry. I have a question. You said it is very, very rare to become an intimate friend of Krishna. Now I remember, but not exactly which verse. There is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says to Arjuna, "Because you are my very dear friend." I've also heard that actually we can read the Bhagavad Gita as if we are Arjuna. It's meant for us. Whatever Krishna says there, he's actually telling us. So I would like, maybe you could elaborate a little bit on the different rasas that we can have with Krishna.
Well, my experience is, look
what
around you.
is our origin? Because the official viewpoint of ISKCON, and I also believe that, is that we were with Krishna in the spiritual world because we are eternal and that's our eternal position. So
Even if we were, we're not now. That's the first thing.
yeah, I understand.
And I look around, I don't see many people who read Bhagavad Gita. You know, strictly speaking, I have about a few intimate friends. I can count them on the fingers of my hand, so few of them, that actually read and understand Bhagavad Gita as a day-to-day process. Most people are not very interested.
But in our spiritual form, in our pure spiritual form, I mean, all that is not there. Then we are the pure soul.
So, therefore,
So I don't see your argument. People are not reading Bhagavad Gita because we're conditioned, but I'm speaking about our liberated state in the spiritual world. Why would we not be Krishna's friend? It's not that
if you're in the spiritual world, then all your problems are solved.
That's okay.
There's no need. There's not even need of a Bhagavad Gita.
No, but you said that we might become liberated, but it's not sure that we will be Krishna's friend. I thought you were referring to the situation where we,
In a sense that,
come back to the spiritual world.
generally speaking, in the spiritual world, people worship Krishna in awe and veneration. That means God is great, I'm small, I'm his servant, and I worship him as my master.
Santa Rush, that is?
Dasyaras.
Dasha.
And if you travel especially through South India, the Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, very, very common. People worship God as Varadaraja, as the one who gives blessings. They worship God as the master. And they feel themselves as servants. Even Lakshmi Devi, she worships Lord Vishnu by massaging his lotus feet as a servant, as a menial servant, even though she's an energy of God, much more than a regular devotee. One time she thought, since Vishnu takes the form of Krishna, and he enjoys the Rasa Lila with the gopis,
Vishnu takes the form of Krishna.
Krishna in the form, Vishnu in the form of Krishna, same person,
Okay.
not in Vaikuntha, but in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is two-handed. In Vaikuntha he's four-handed.
Krishna is the original form, isn't it?
Yeah, but in Vaikuntha Krishna is not there, only four-handed Vishnu is there. So Lakshmi was thinking, since it's the same person, is after all my husband, let me go to Goloka Vrindavan and become a gopi as well. But she couldn't do it. Krishna did not agree. What to speak of us? So, to enter into a personal, intimate relationship with Krishna requires one thing, two things: pure devotional service and the blessing of a pure devotee of Krishna.
Mhm.
If you have the blessing of one of Krishna's associate, one of the gopis in Vrindavan, then you can also become one,
Yeah.
not otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's not so easy.
No, it's not easy, but it is not like
You know,
out of scope.
if it wasn't for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there would hardly have been one pure devotee on this planet. Only because of his appearance and that he brought with him so many of his associates from the spiritual world was Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service manifest.
Mhm. Yeah, but my question was not referring to the situation in this world, but in the situation
Okay.
when we have
And my answer is that in the spiritual world, there is also varieties.
Yeah,
There is also different levels.
Yeah.
But we're not in, we're here. So let's first of all, the ship is sinking. For God's sake, it's no use speculating about the spiritual world. Let's first get into the lifeboat.
But it's nice to look out for.
Yes, it is. It's nice to know that you can be.
Prabhupada wrote the Krishna book. Why did he do that? That's so that we could get a taste of what's going on in the spirit.
Because it's nice to know that there is that position to be achieved. That gives you impetus to strive for pure devotional service and not karma mishra bhakti or jnana mishra bhakti or yoga mishra bhakti or devotion mixed with knowledge or desire for material benefit or yogic perfections.
We should also be very careful that we don't jump ahead and want to enjoy Krishna's pastimes.
No, because it's descending.
That's
When you're
also-
ready, Krishna will give you. You cannot take it by force. Any other points? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You were talking about letting go of desire. And I have all scratches because a street cat labored in my house, and I'm like now a caretaker of the cat and the babies. And so I'm now in devotional service of that cat, and I'm observing my ego. I give love. So my ego is very much. What I want to say is, I have suffered from a lot of abuse in my life, a lot of trauma,
Sorry to
and
hear.
some of the teachers that I've met in my life of all kinds of spiritual groups have labeled me as a mental disorder. I thought I was just artistic or expressive or whatever. I did art to express my emotions. So I am training myself now to love animals, I love everybody, and I have still emotions. I still have ego. I'm still not good enough. And how can I accept that for myself? That I'm just a human being on the way.
You know, Lord Chaitanya had one disciple, one associate. His name was Srivas Pandit. And he was married. He also had several brothers. It was a big joint family. And they lived in Navadvip, where Lord Chaitanya was born. And they had a big compound in the house. And Lord Chaitanya used to go there every evening. They used to perform kirtan and dance. One time Lord Chaitanya said, everybody in Srivas' house is very dear to me, even the dogs. So, I'm not saying go out and get a dog or get a cat, because you might become distracted from your relationship with Krishna. But if you see that if a dog and cat happens to come to you, don't chase it away either. See that that animal is a spirit soul. Within that animal body there is a spirit soul. See that animal in connection with Krishna. Then there's no problem. Then you're actually serving Krishna, but serving one of his sons, one of his children. So give the cat some prasad and chant Hare Krishna to him. When you chant, let him hear. And then I see no problem. But it's dangerous. There is an example of a great king called Bharat Maharaj. He left his kingdom at the age of 24. Beautiful wife, children, treasury, unopposed kingdom. He abandoned everything because he was so attracted to Krishna. And he lived in the forest near the river. And he was almost on the point of pure love of Krishna. He was in bhav, which is the first step before Krishna prema, or love of Krishna. Bhav means intense emotion. But somehow, one mother deer, she was coming to drink water, and a lion roared, and she was pregnant, and she gave birth and died. So the little baby deer was immediately from birth, there was nobody to take care, so the Bharat, he was a devotee, so he picked up the deer and he took care of him and fed him, and he became very much attached. So much so that his attachment became so strong for the deer that he forgot his spiritual practices. And he became more attached to the deer than to his devotion to Krishna. And he had to take birth as a deer in the next life. Of course, because he was an advanced devotee, even in the body of the deer, he didn't forget what happened. So there is a danger of becoming attached, Hare Krishna Mataji, of becoming attached to anything, unless you have a strong connection with Krishna. So at the same time, so you work on that. The most important thing is to work on our pure connection with Krishna. Then everything else will become perfect automatically. You don't have to be a sannyasi, you don't have to be a monk, you don't have to be renounced, you don't have to practice yoga or knowledge, none of these things. They all automatically come if you fix up your relationship with Krishna. And how do we do that? By chanting his name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The more you chant, the more your heart becomes cleansed, the more you understand how important it is to relate with Krishna, and the more Krishna reciprocates with you and helps you. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
As you say that God would love to have independence from individual entity. So how to give our independence to the God?
Now, God is supremely independent, and we are minutely independent. That's a fact of life. You cannot change that. In other words, we have a choice in what we do. We can choose to act properly or act improperly. So I don't understand your question exactly.
What are the means to give our independence to the God?
Just come in front of him and say, here I am. Teach me how to use my independence for your pleasure. He will do it. He's in your heart. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Our relationship with God is already fixed up. He already loves us and He takes care of us. Look, we may go for years and years without thinking about God. I know, I did. But the moment you think of Him, He reciprocates in your heart. What friend does that for you? If you're my friend and I ignore you for 10 years, you're going to say, well, the hell with him. Not Krishna. He stays with you. So not only is He our eternal friend, He's also our protector, our benefactor, our order supplier, everything we want. Everything, there is nothing outside Krishna. That's the basic point. Any other question? Good. 5 o'clock. What's the program now?
We'll start with Garaki.
We have Arati. Okay.
Wonderful lecture, Prabhu ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna Mataji. How are you?
Still alive. Ananda Svarupa dasa ki jai.
Hare